The pain started 3 days before my sister's wedding. A dull ache in my lower right abdomen that I initially dismissed as stress or bad food. By the day before the wedding, it had sharpened into something that made me catch my breath whenever I moved too quickly. "You look terrible," my sister Amanda said when I arrived at the venue for the rehearsal. She was holding a clipboard and wearing the expression of barely controlled panic that had defined her personality for the past 6 months of wedding planning. "I don't feel great," I admitted. "I think I might be coming down with something." "You cannot get sick. You're my photographer tomorrow." "About that, maybe we should have a backup plan. I could give you the names of some." "Claire, we've been over this. Professional photographers want $4,000. $4,000 for one day. Your family, you're doing this." I've been doing photography as a side hobby for years. Good enough equipment, a decent portfolio, a few paid gigs here and there. When Amanda got engaged, she had immediately volunteered my services. Not asked. Volunteered them. The family discount, she called it, which apparently meant free labor, free equipment, free expertise. "I'm serious," I said, pressing my hand against my side. "Something feels wrong." Everything feels wrong 3 days before a wedding. It's called stress. Stop being dramatic and get some rest. I need you at 100% tomorrow. That night, the pain worsened. I barely slept, alternating between chills and sweats, curled around a heating pad that did nothing to help. At 3 in the morning, I seriously considered going to the emergency room. But Amanda's wedding was in 10 hours. She'd never forgive me if I missed it. I convinced myself I could make it through one day. The morning of the wedding, I could barely stand upright. The pain had localized, sharp and insistent, making every movement feel like being stabbed. My temperature was 101.3. I knew these symptoms. I had friends with appendicitis before. This was textbook. I called Amanda at 8 in the morning. "I need to go to the hospital," I said without preamble. "What? No. Claire, the wedding is in 5 hours. I think I have appendicitis." "You think? So you're not sure?" "I'm pretty sure. The pain is really bad." "Can you go after?" "Just get through the ceremony and reception, then go. I'm sure it's not that serious if you've been dealing with it for days." "Amanda, appendicitis can be serious. It can rupture." "Stop being dramatic. It's my wedding day. My day. You promised to do this. I've been planning for a year, and you're going to bail because you have a stomachache? It's not. Just take some ibuprofen. You'll be fine. I need you here by noon with all your equipment set up." She hung up before I could argue further. I should have gone to the hospital anyway. I should have chosen my health over her guilt trip. But family obligation is a powerful drug, and Amanda had always been good at wielding it. So I loaded my camera equipment into my car, swallowed 4 ibuprofen, and drove to the venue. The venue was a restored barn an hour outside the city. Beautiful, expensive, exactly the Pinterest-perfect wedding Amanda had been curating since she was 16. I arrived at noon and immediately started setting up. Arranging lighting equipment, checking camera settings, scouting angles, all while feeling like someone was twisting the knife in my side. "You still look terrible," Amanda's maid of honor observed. "I'm fine. You're sweating and you're pale. It's hot in here." She didn't look convinced but wandered off to deal with bridesmaid drama. I sat down on a folding chair and tried to breathe through the waves of nausea. The ceremony started at 3. I photographed every moment. The processional, the vows, the ring exchange, the kiss. 200 photos in 45 minutes, each one requiring me to crouch, stand, stretch, move, aim. My hands were shaking by the end. The pain had spread, radiating across my entire abdomen. During the cocktail hour, I found a bathroom and vomited. Wiped my face, popped 3 more ibuprofen, and went back out to photograph guests mingling. The reception was worse. 6 hours of constant movement, photographing toasts, the first dance, cake cutting, bouquet toss. Amanda kept finding me between moments. "Make sure you get photos of the centerpieces." "Did you get enough shots of me and the bridesmaids?" "The lighting looks weird in some of these. Fix it." By 9 o'clock, I was operating on autopilot. Point, shoot, move. Point, shoot, move. The pain was constant now, a screaming presence that drowned out everything else. I was dizzy, feverish, struggling to focus. At 10:15, during the final dance set, something shifted inside me. The pain exploded into something beyond what I'd been managing all day. I doubled over behind my camera, unable to straighten back up. Amanda noticed from the dance floor. She pushed through the crowd and grabbed my arm. "What are you doing? People can see you. I need to go to the hospital. Now." "The reception isn't over. We haven't done the sparkler exit yet." "Amanda, please, something's really wrong. You've been saying that all day and you're fine. Just finish the job. One more hour." "I don't think I have an hour." Her face hardened. "You're ruining my wedding. Do you know that? This is the most important day of my life, and you're making it about you." I left my camera equipment and walked to my car, drove myself to the emergency room, hands gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles went white, tears streaming down my face from the pain. The ER doctor took one look at me and ordered an immediate CT scan. "Your appendix is severely inflamed," she said 30 minutes later. "Another few hours and it would have ruptured. We need to operate tonight." I was in surgery by midnight. They removed my appendix, which the surgeon later told me had been on the verge of bursting, peritonitis, sepsis, potentially death. I'd been that close. Amanda called the next day, not to ask about my health, to demand her wedding photos. "I need them edited and delivered within 2 weeks," she said. "That's industry standard." "I'm in the hospital recovering from emergency surgery." "I know, Mom told me." "That's fine. You have a laptop, right? You can edit from bed." I hung up on her. I delivered the photos 3 weeks later, editing them during recovery because the alternative was Amanda's angry voicemails. She complained about the quality, lighting, and angles. Never said thank you. Never apologized for forcing me to photograph her wedding while my appendix was failing. During my recovery, I had a lot of time to think about family obligation and exploitation, about what I was willing to tolerate for people who didn't reciprocate basic concern, about the fact that I'd almost died to save Amanda $4,000 and she couldn't even manage gratitude. I made decisions during those weeks on medical leave from my marketing job. I would distance myself from family who treated me like unpaid labor. I would invest in myself the way I'd been investing in others. I would build something that belonged only to me. I stopped answering Amanda's calls, kept communication with my parents minimal, threw myself into my career with an intensity I'd previously reserved for keeping everyone else happy. The marketing agency I worked for was small but growing. I took every opportunity, volunteered for challenging projects. Within a year, I was promoted to senior strategist. A year after that, creative director. The company was acquired by a larger firm 5 years after Amanda's wedding. I moved to the acquiring company as a director. When the CMO position opened, I got it. 6 months later, the CEO stepped down and the board offered me the position. At 33, I became CEO of a 200-person marketing and brand strategy firm. 7 years after photographing my sister's wedding with a failing appendix, I was running a company worth $30 million. I didn't broadcast my success to my family, didn't update social media much, didn't attend family gatherings where I'd have to make small talk about my career. My parents knew I'd done well, but not the specifics. Amanda, as far as I knew, thought I was still in some middle management marketing role. The application crossed my desk on a Tuesday morning. I reviewed all director-level applications personally. Halfway through the stack, I saw the name. Amanda Morrison, applying for brand strategy director. Salary requirement, $85,000. I stared at the resume, 5 jobs in 7 years. Marketing coordinator, social media manager, content strategist, brand consultant. Lateral moves, short tenures, no upward trajectory. Everything okay, my HR director, Patricia, had poked her head into my office. This application. I turned the screen toward her. Amanda Morrison, what do we know about her? Patricia consulted her tablet. She interviewed with the hiring manager yesterday. Feedback was lukewarm. She has the baseline qualifications but nothing that stands out. References were mixed. One former supervisor mentioned reliability issues. Why? She's my sister. Patricia's eyebrows rose. Oh, do you want me to remove her from consideration? Conflict of interest? No. Set up an interview with me. Don't tell her who she's interviewing with. Just say it's a final round CEO interview. Are you sure? I wasn't sure of anything except that 7 years of hard work had led to this moment. My sister, who'd exploited my labor and dismissed my medical emergency, sitting across from me asking for a job. The interview was scheduled for Thursday at 2. Amanda arrived 15 minutes early, wearing a suit that looked new and carrying a leather portfolio I recognized as expensive. She was nervous. I could see it in how she kept adjusting her necklace, crossing and uncrossing her legs in the waiting area. My assistant brought her into my office at exactly 2 o'clock. Amanda walked in with a confident smile that faltered the moment she saw me behind the desk. "Claire?" "Hello, Amanda. Have a seat." She sat slowly, confusion and something like fear crossing her face. "You're the CEO. For the past 6 months, you're applying for our brand strategy director position. I didn't know you work here. I founded this division 3 years ago for the acquisition." I gestured to her portfolio. "Walk me through your experience." She stumbled through her pitch, clearly rattled. I let her finish, made notes, asked the standard interview questions. Her answers were adequate but unimpressive. She had the skills but not the vision, the experience but not the innovation. "Tell me about a time you handled a high-pressure situation," I said. She launched into a story about managing a product launch under tight deadlines. I listened, remembering the different high-pressure situation. One where she forced her sister to work through a medical emergency because flowers and centerpieces were more important than appendicitis. "Why do you want to work here?" I asked. "Your company has an excellent reputation. I'm looking for somewhere I can grow long-term, contribute meaningfully to strategy development, work with a strong leadership team. What do you know about our leadership team?" She hesitated. "I researched the executive bios on your website." "But you didn't know your sister was the CEO. "We don't talk much." "No." I agreed, "we don't." Silence stretched between us. I could see her calculating, trying to determine if our history would help or hurt her chances. "Claire, about the wedding. 7 years ago, you forced me to photograph your wedding while I had appendicitis. I told you multiple times that I needed medical attention. You told me to stop being dramatic. I went into emergency surgery that night. My appendix was hours from rupturing. I didn't know it was that serious. You didn't care enough to find out." I was stressed. It was my wedding day. I wasn't thinking clearly. "You were thinking clearly enough to demand I edit photos from my hospital bed." She looked down at her hands. "I know I was selfish back then. I'm different now." "Are you?" "Your reference from your last employer mentioned reliability issues. Left projects unfinished, missed deadlines. That job wasn't a good fit." "None of your jobs have been good fits. You've had 5 positions in 7 years, no promotions. You're applying for a director role, but your experience is mid-level at best. So you're rejecting me because of the wedding?" "I'm rejecting you because you're not qualified for this position. The wedding is just context for why I'm not willing to overlook your mediocre qualifications the way a stranger might." "That's not fair." "You're right. It's not fair. Do you know what else isn't fair? Working for 8 hours with appendicitis because your sister values wedding photos more than your life. But we don't always get fairness." She stood up, tears in her eyes. "I need this job, Claire. I'm barely making rent. My career isn't where I thought it would be. I need a break. Then find it somewhere else. I built this company by working through the pain you caused, by learning that the only person I could count on was myself. I'm not going to hand you a position you haven't earned out of family obligation. I've done that before. It nearly killed me. So this is revenge? No. This is boundaries. This is me choosing competence over family guilt. This is me remembering that stop being dramatic really meant stop inconveniencing me with your medical emergency." Amanda left without another word. I sat in my office for a long time afterward, staring at her rejected application on my screen. Patricia came by an hour later. "How did it go?" "I rejected her. She's not qualified." "And the personal history?" "Made it easier to be objective. I'm not interested in giving second chances to people who wouldn't have called an ambulance if I collapsed at their wedding." Patricia nodded slowly. "For what it's worth, I think you made the right call. We need team members who show up for each other. She doesn't have that track record." I hired someone else for the position the following week. A candidate with a stronger portfolio, better references, and the kind of innovative thinking we needed. Someone who'd never forced their sister to work through appendicitis. Amanda sent one email after the interview saying I'd changed, become cold. I didn't respond. Because I hadn't forgotten what family meant. I'd learned what it didn't mean. It didn't mean free labor. It didn't mean dismissing medical emergencies. It didn't mean owing people positions they hadn't earned. I'd built this company photo by photo, decision by decision, boundary by boundary. Built it into something where people's health mattered more than convenience. Where competence determined advancement, not guilt. Amanda wanted me to give her a break. But I'd learned 7 years ago, sweating through her wedding reception with a failing appendix, that the only person who'd give me a break was myself. So I gave myself this one: the right to say no, the right to maintain standards, the right to remember that when I needed help, she told me to stop being dramatic. Now she needed help, and I told her she wasn't qualified. Turns out we both learned to prioritize what matters most to us. She chose her wedding photos. I chose my boundaries. And I built a company on that foundation.